Alright. Let's jump back into Zero Escape. Virtue's last reward. Now we just finished this white room. We have 2 endings to go. I don't think we're gonna reach the end today. We might, but I doubt it. Alright, I also need to go back and get some of the golden files for the other rooms. Let's, Alright. There are only 2 endings left. The Quark and, Quark and Phi ending. And did I get the secrets? Oh, I didn't use the keys yet. Alright, where's that safe? Alright. Okay. Same safe we've seen in the other rooms. Means you probably open the same way too. You just need to plug in the password, right? Yeah. Why don't you give it a shot? Good job. You opened it. Well done. Okay, what was the other one? On star mode. I'm like nervous getting close to the end. Yes, it's open. Okay then. Are those the IB things? Or IGs? Immunoglobulin? Okay then. Let's see what's in here. First off. Amadex room. 2 star keys. We could use these to play the AB room as many times as we want. Hold on. These keys are important. Look at this. Xavalier. The Radical 6 cure. Oh, thank goodness. I don't know what to say. Quark's gonna be okay. Is he crying? Alright, let's get out of here. We need to get this stuff to Quark and Alice. Because we didn't heal them yet. Okay. Yeah, you're right. This key should do the trick. Get moving. Door says lock. Guys ready? All set here. Go for it. Alright. 3, 2, 1. 2, 3. Stop that. Jeez. One more time. Why do I recount down? It's like they're just making fun of it taking so long. Escaped the 16 rooms. Escaped everything on hard difficulty. 2 achievements.
Huh. It opened.
We should get back to the Flore warehouse then.
Hey, wait. Do you guys hear something? Alright. This is where I'm going to stop on this one. Because we're in the novel section. I'll jump back to this. I want to get the gold file in the lab. This one says I got 9 out of 11. Okay. Alright, so I'm going back to just kind of... I want to get 100% in this game. I want to get all the files and stuff. Yep. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of click through this. I wonder if there's like 9 of these. These lions. Okay. Okay, what else can I pick up here? Jeez, the music in here is intense. Does that have something to do with it? The ethanol from the frog container. I know there's instructions for this, but I've already done it, so I'm kind of like skipping the instructions and brute forcing it. Sorry, Mr. Hoppington, or whatever your face is. Lord Hoppington. Okay, I'm going mostly off of memory here. Add in a solution of saline water. funnel above the beaker. Filter liquid come out of it eventually. Add ethanol. Empty capsule, right? Maybe the gold thing has something to do with these. One part fluid, 10 parts water. Okay, I remember how to do this. Okay, so we have... So round, stripe round, long, stripe long, and then was it like a half? Is that what they were? Stripe, stripe, half, plain, plain. Okay. Okay, so we had round seeds. So there's yellow, cyan, green, blue, and red. Okay. Okay. The long seeds failed to germinate in 3 of the fluids. Doesn't help. Round seeds in fluid B, yellow. So round seeds in yellow and cyan. Oh, I can't really see that. Let's do red. Round seeds in yellow and cyan. None of the marked seeds germinate in green. So green, none of the marked ones. So the striped, and the half one. Non-marked seeds fail to germinate in red and yellow. Non-marked. None of the marked seeds germinate in green. None marked seeds fail to germinate in red and yellow. Blue. Only one of them failed to germinate. When the striped seeds are put in cyan. Okay, well the long one is yellow. Okay. So long equals yellow. Round equals green. Striped round equals red. Okay. Striped round is red. Yeah, aren't they all straight down? 20, 20, 10, 30. So 10 plus 40, 20. Yeah, it's all just straight down. The long one goes in yellow. Round goes in green. Striped round goes in red. So is half cyan or is half blue? Half is blue. What? Oh, striped round is red. Striped round is red. Long is yellow. Round is green. What the hell did I do? The long seeds failed to germinate in 3 liquids. Round seeds in yellow. The round failed in yellow and cyan. Round, yellow and cyan failed. Okay. None of the marked seeds germinate if put in green. So green, stripes in these two. Okay. Non-marked seeds. Oh, this is non-marked seeds. I said none of the marked seeds. It's non-marked seeds. Oh, that's where I failed. Okay. Okay. So round seeds. Yep. None of the marked seeds germinate in green. The marked seeds. So the stripes, Okay. Non-marked seeds failed to germinate in red and yellow. In red and yellow, the non-marked seeds. Why is this harder? Mark seeds in green. Non-marked seeds, red and yellow. But in fluid D. The cyan and blue. Only one of them failed to germinate. When the striped seeds were put in fluid D and fluid E, one of them failed to germinate. So it's not both. So boom, boom, can't be a thing. But I mean, it could be any of that. The long seeds failed to germinate in 3 of the fluids. Does that mean it's like that? So that means that? No, that means that. Half yellow, round green, Half is yellow. Green is round. Red is striped round. Only 2 of them are correct? Okay, I kind of brute forced that, but I did it in the past. I don't know what I'm doing differently. What up, Frulio? I'm good. I'm just chilling. Is there another way this one works? About a new place you moved in about a month? Damn. Well, congratulations, dude. It's a big thing. One of the most stressful things to do is to move. Yeah, like moving to my current place was one of my best decisions I've ever made. So, I hope the best for you as well. Hype as fuck. It is. Says I don't need to mess with the beakers anymore. What else could I do in this room? What are we doing? Okay, this is new. This is nonsense. Alright, done. Prepare the 500 types of plant seeds. I'm getting the DNA from the seeds now. Place plant material. So seeds and the root are both plant materials. Got it. That's why I didn't get this the last time. Let's go have a look. Sun, star, moon. Alright, let's learn the new things. Alright, what do I have new? Floor A and B. Facility is 2 stories. The top floor is referred to as floor A, the bottom floor is referred to as floor B. The A and B supposedly stand for above and below, which there's a rumor the floors are actually named after a particular Swedish pop rock group from the 70s. And everyone involved in this project has insisted that is a vile and hurtful lie. What? Above, below? Particular. Huh. You didn't miss much. I just went back to the lab, so don't worry about it. Okay, Research Journal 1. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. You assume that the brain operates on a one-to-one basis with regards to time. Radical 6 reduces that to 1√16, or approximately 1 to 0.4. That means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.4 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, 1 second passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds, or √6 seconds has passed outside. That is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempts to take their own life, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of the virus. The research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, and thus far, we have been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. Research Journal number 3. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piling up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels as if a cloud has gone over the sun. Every day I see more crows. The rats are everywhere, feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats, who have grown fat with a plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who survived the outbreaks have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Oh Lord, please. Let their future be a bright one. This is an excerpt from the Journal of Researcher. Due to space constraints, some sections have been cut out. Jumpy doll. Sounds like someone named Ajal Jumpy, but why? Junpei? And was that like why Junpei's nickname was had a, did Junpei have a nickname of Jumpy? I don't remember. Do you think that his head is kind of weird? There's that huge bend that wraps around the head. As if he's hiding a pair of Ferengi ears. Or maybe he's just a young Labot? Well, this is just between you and me, but he's got missiles in there. The size of the hats are hiding these pods, like you see in helicopters or SAM sites. Except these missiles are tiny, and you get in trouble, both sides of the hat open up and they just fly out all at once, like pshh. Just kidding, you just keep snacks in there. That's what Akane called them. An antiviral medication made to counteract Radical 6. More specifically, it is an antibody with the natural resistance to the virus. It has been found to be extracted from an individual in 2038. Interesting. 2038. And then replicated using the IG replicator. Extravelar injection is only known way to fight off Radical 6 infection. So all of this information would have been really nice to know beforehand. It would have made a lot less surprises, I guess. So I kind of like my playthrough when I missed this, and then people started committing suicide and I was freaking out because I didn't know why. And this is also before time slowed down for me. So I didn't know any of this stuff at that time. Alright, and there's one more. Maybe I should... What's 12? What am I missing here? To 14. I missed something in the rec room? A couple things I missed in the rec room? Okay, so apparently that wasn't in my inventory. What else did I miss in here? This? Found all files in VLR. What? No, I didn't. Yeah, I'm still missing these. I think I got the, I don't think I put in the gold password. I think I just got the gold pass and I didn't put it in. Great work. Hey, this is... At least this game has this functionality. Double Talvir. Hi, Luna. Hello. God, there was another game where I did this. Where I ended up, like, wasting, like, a couple hours or something because I earned, like, a collectible, then I just forgot to pick it up. It was really weird. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it literally cost me hours. Sun, Moon. Found all secrets in VLR. Redacted. Bam! Alright. %ing this game. Fuck yeah. Okay. The Prisoner's Dilemma. Banana Apple committed a serious crime and were arrested. Since they were accomplices, the police separated them for questioning and kept them from communicating. A detective visited each criminal and tells each the following. If either of you spills the beans, you both get 2 years. If neither of you spills the beans, you both get 2 years. If he clams up and you confess, you get 1 year and he'll do 15. But if you keep quiet and he gives up, you'll do 15 while he does 1. So I bet you're thinking, well, what if we both rat out the other guy? Pretty simple, pal. You both get 10 years. This is the prisoner's dilemma. Do you betray your partner or stay silent? In the AV game, however, sometimes the most rational choice isn't the best one. Antimatter bomb. This bomb uses energy generated by the collision of particles and antiparticles. So how does this work? Vi explains. Imagine 2 types of matter that are exactly opposite, like male and female. When they're combined, what happens? According to quantum theory, their numbers add together to make 0, like 1 and -1, and they kind of disappear because they cancel each other out. They call that annihilation. But when they collide, they create something, like a baby, except this baby is sort of pure energy, and a lot of it. So in other words, the antimatter bomb makes an explosion. It makes an exploding baby. That makes sense? Sure. This is a device that will detonate an antimatter bomb. Technically, it's called the remote triggering detonation signal device. That takes a really long time to type out, so we'll just use detonator. This particular device has 2 modes of operation, immediate and delay. Pressing the switch when you're less than a meter away from the bomb will trigger the immediate mode, and the bomb will detonate immediately. If you're more than 1 meter away from the bomb, however, pressing the switch will activate the delay mode, and the bomb will explode 30 minutes later. Bomb making an explosion? I think we needed this to explain it, though. Okay. What is this? Cybernetic arm. Design originally created to weaponize genetically engineered psychic bears. Just kidding. It's actually an arm augmented for online sex chat. Not really. In truth, the arm from a mysterious libido-powered robot. I'm messing with you. A cybernetic arm is actually a mechanical arm that you can control with your mind. Really? It has titanium alloy for bones, and those are covered with ABT, or artificial biological tissue. The ABT even has artificial nerves, so you can feel pain through them just like an arm. It has veins that connect to the rest of the body, so if you inject medicine into the cybernetic arm, it will flow to the rest of the body. Luna's necklace. Aww. The necklace Luna is never seen without has a cage containing a bluebird hanging from it. If you twist the key in the bottom, it plays music. Somebody special gave it to her as a gift, and she says it reminds her of the following lesson. Search for happiness wherever you can, because the search itself is what makes you happy. 3 Laws of Robotics. 3 Laws of Robotics were created by science fiction author Isaac Asimov and play a large part in the robot series. They are as follow. A robot may not injure a human being through inaction, allow a human being to come into harm. A robot may obey the orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first and second laws. Later on, Asimov also developed another preceding rule known as Zeroth Law, which appears in his history, Robots and Empire. Here. Here's Luna. You can see Luna. The next one, the Zeroth Law of Robotics. 0. A robot may not harm humanity or by inaction allow humanity to come to harm. Clearly the Zeroth Law has priority for the first 3, so the first law would have the unwritten addendum except where this would affect the Zeroth Law. Whether or not 016 was aware of this law is unclear, but in any event, 016 did act in accordance with it. So we're saving the world, basically. We're fighting the outbreak of Radical 6. Alright, the last set of files. The spoiler files. Okay. Minkowski space. A way of describing reality that adds a 4th dimension of time to the 3 dimension of space, which is described by German mathematician Hermann Minkowski and therefore bears this name. It's also the name of a ski resort for miniature cows. Minkowski. Scientific name for the order to which rabbits belong is 0-3rd actual name. Lagomorph? Friggin' Lagomorph is 0-3rd's name? Temyoji and Alice. When they were split up at the red, blue, and green drawers, Temyoji told Alice that there was something he had to tell her. That something was, of course, his identity, and that he already knew about Alice and Ice 9, and not because he heard of it from Clover. Okay, I was actually curious if they're going to explain that, because there's clearly things that they did while together. Okay, Temyoji and Clover. Then this is basically he tells who he is to Clover as well. After the second round of the AB game, after going through the purple and green doors, Clover, as a solo, was heard to say the following to Temyoji, her opponent. What the heck did you mean by all that? It's not fair. If you tell him the truth, then So what had Temyoji said to her? The same thing he meant to say to Alice, of course. He told her who he was. That simple fact shook Clover's resolve and made her vote ally. Probably hadn't been his original intention to betray her, but after thinking about Quark's safety, he probably felt he had no choice but to pick betray. What a dick. The AB. Do I want to read these? A can stand for after and B can stand for before. They also stand for anima and body. Everything that happened in this facility was part of the AB project. Mystery of Phi. So who is Phi? There are a few clues scattered throughout the story, but nothing conclusive. Perhaps the truth will be revealed at the Nevada test site. The passwords. Here's a little something more about the deactivation passwords. Those passwords, they aren't just gibberish. There's something hidden in each one. I can give you only one hint. +1. Good luck. There's a lot more to the story, but to think we'll stop the secret archives here. Thank you for playing, and we hope you enjoyed the game. Alright, before we go to the end, through here, I still haven't gone through this path. So I'm gonna go through that path. 5 minutes of life. This is where I need the tinfoil, right?
What?
Sigma's BP is...
-1.
Negative.
Suddenly all eyes were on me. I felt wits but stood my ground. It was a result I'd expected. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. Alright, this is where I crawled to, what's his face? There's a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. I couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins, but I knew it was there. First, there'd be the anesthetic, Soparil. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, it felt like my mind had been stuffed with cotton. My legs began to wobble, then gave out as I crumbled to the floor.
Sigma! Sigma! Hang on! Hey! Sigma! Get up!
Sigma!
Oh no! Oh no, oh no, oh no!
Luna's the best. Trying to open my eyelids was like trying to lift sheets of lead. My eyes had lost the ability to focus, but I could make out a blur that had to be Dio in front of the number 9 door. Damn it. You'll keep your promise, goddammit. I get it, I'm a Sigma. I groaned, and with a Herculean effort, I lifted my head and then my sluggish body off the floor. I've been not making like a Sigma male joke this whole time. Mostly because I never even looked into Sigma males. I just know it's like a thing online and something I don't particularly care about. Every step was a battle. Whenever I lifted the weight of my muscles, threatened to give out again. But somehow I forced myself ahead, a single thought burning through my mind. I would reach Dio. Then at last. The smudge color faded into a recognizable face. I threw my hand in front of him. Give it back. Give me the medicine.
Back? Don't act like it's yours. Aren't we supposed to share everything we find here?
I don't care. Just hand me the medicine.
What are you talking about?
We found the Exavalier in the lab.
And Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it? Right now?
Yeah. So?
I kept my promise. Now, you. I wasn't a fool. I knew the kind of person Dio was. There was a chance he wouldn't give us back the Exavalier. If he didn't, then I'd die with my hands around his throat. I gathered as much of my mind as I could and got ready to attack.
Fine.
Not quite what I'd been expecting.
Here.
The Sharky pulled the vial out of his pocket and tossed it towards me. I caught it and pulled the tiny glass bottle to my chest, worried I might drop it. The label said, unmistakably, Exavalier. It was the real thing. Clover, take it. I held it out toward her.
Right, of course.
She quickly tucked it into her pocket. Good. Now at least Quark will be alright. With that, the last of my strength left me and I dropped to my knees.
Sigma! Are you okay? Sigma! Sigma!
I guess this is it.
First is the Soparil, which put you to sleep. 9 minutes later, the tubocurarine is injected, numbing your respiratory muscles. I guess you could say it'll really take your breath away.
9 minutes. Once the Soparil is injected, I had 9 minutes until the muscle relaxant followed. About 4 minutes has already passed, which left me with 5, give or take a little. 5 minutes, I would be dead. What could I do in 5 minutes? How could I save myself? I give a raspy, quiet laugh. Even with death staring me in the face, I seem to be determined to struggle right up to the very end. Okay, Sigma. You can do this. Clinging desperately to what little consciousness I had left, I racked my brain for any possible solutions. How could I save myself? How? There had to be something. Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. I just had to think. 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 If there was a way out, I'd find it. I wasn't ready to give up on life yet. There had to be an answer. Is it the tinfoil?
Sigma.
Cut off my
what's wrong with
arm?
your hand? There's something white on it. The structure
This
of
is what
the
saves
bones in your
me?
arms isn't anything close to human. Your arms are cybernetic.
I thought it would be the tinfoil or the injection. Gotta hand it to you? The hell was that? I have cybernetic arms? They're both shocking and utterly obvious. Of course my arms were artificial. Titanium alloy bones with an ABT exterior to mimic human skin. But I had no idea why. Nor did I know when my human arms, which I distinctly remember having, had been replaced. That flash of Luda I'd seen. It was certain it had never happened. Those things hardly mattered, though. If I survived, I could worry about them later. The fact that my arms were mechanical, however, that might be useful. Call up all my strength I had left and stood one more time. What are you waiting for? Why don't you open it already?
What?
Did I stutter? Open the number 9 door.
Sigma, what are you saying?
Looks like you finally gave up. Whatever. I was just about to flip the switch anyway.
Then hurry up, Ben.
Hey, don't rush me. Okay, you've got 9 BP now, right?
Yes?
Well, what do you say? Want to come with?
I will remain here.
Why?
I cannot abandon Sigma.
Don't worry about me. Go. You have to get outside and call for help.
But
Do you think Dio will? If he's the only one who gets out of here, there's no hope for the rest of us. You're the only one we can count on.
I understand.
Great. Glad we got that settled. Shall we go?
No! Stop!
I began to move, but it was already too late. Dio grabbed the lever and threw it down. You know, if Kay didn't want to leave, why didn't he just restrain Dio? I don't think they resort to violence enough.
The number 9 door has been opened. It will remain open for 9 seconds.
It's been fun. Peace.
I promise to call for help and return as soon as I can. Please, do not give up hope.
Yeah, I know. Just get going already. But just UK.
Huh?
As Dio turned to look at me, I crouched, then called on every last bit of strength my wearied body could supply and launched myself towards him like a coiled spring. I slammed into his legs, knocked him to the floor, and wrapped my hands around his ankles before he could get back up. Get wrecked.
Hey! What are you doing, you bastard? The door's gonna close. Let go! Go, goddammit! Let me go!
He lashed out with his free leg at my head, shoulders, and arms, but I held on. Is he gonna get squished by the door? I ignored the pain, tightened my grip with every blow.
Hey, what the hell is this shit? Why are you doing this?
Am I gonna... Well, am I gonna get my arm cut off?
Kept
What's
my
gonna...
promise, didn't I?
Yeah, so did I. Before I crawl. I didn't say anything about letting you escape.
What? Shit! Stop screwing around, asshole! I have to get out of here. I'm not going to let my sacred mission get fucked up by some self-righteous idiot.
Dio began to pull himself along but with his elbows, bit by bit edging closer to the exit. He was headed straight through the door, but the gate was already begun to close. With only a few feet left to spare before it shut, he crawled across the threshold and beyond the door.
Sigma! Stop! That's enough! Please, you have to let go!
The door's going to shut on you if you don't let go.
Oh god. This is gonna suck. Alright. See you later, Dio.
You're an idiot right up until the end, aren't you? Just hurry up and die, you senile old fuck!
No. Going to live. Ugh.
The number 9 door has closed. This ends the nonary game. Thank you for your participation. As the game is over, all doors other than the number 9 door have been unlocked. Escape is not possible. Please enjoy your stay.
The announcer's voice grated at the inside of my skull. I felt tired, so very, very tired. I felt my eyes flutter closed. And then nothing. Gonna get the Quark ending?
Sigma! Sigma! Finally awake, huh?
Where am I? I rubbed my eyes and slid my legs off the bed to stand up. Well, to be honest, it was an examination table, not a bed, which meant the infirmary, huh?
I guess they carried you out here after you passed out.
You guess?
Well, I wasn't there to see it. I was out just like you, but I was in the AB room.
Why?
That bastard Kay. He punched me in the stomach.
What?
I can't believe him. He didn't want me voting, so...
He just sucker punched you? Whoa. And after he knocked you out, he voted betray, which knocked his BP up to 9?
Yes.
So, where's he now?
On the other side of the number 9 door. With Dio. You told him to go, remember?
Oh. Yeah.
Is your arm okay?
That would hurt? Yeah. Arm.
I heard what happened. Cybernetic arms, huh? Can't say I'm surprised. I was starting to get a feeling something was up with you.
I looked down at my left hand. Or rather, looked down where my left hand should have been. Instead, there was a stub wrapped in a white gauze. I told myself I'd do anything to get the cure, even if it meant letting Dio betray me. But I had the feeling I might come to miss my hand. Oh yeah, that was Quark.
I'm right here.
Quark. Man, I'm glad you're alright. Feeling better?
Yep. Thanks to you. You got the medicine from that jerk Dio, right? Luna gave it to me and now I'm better. Thanks. You're the best, Mr. Sigma. You saved my life.
Shut up, baby, I know it. It seemed they'd shared stories while I was asleep. Everyone knew now how I made a deal with Dio, and about the journal we'd found with the Latin in it. Clover and Fi seemed to have done most of the talking.
It was completely the opposite of what we guessed. We're not infected. The rest of the world is. That means this place isn't a quarantine facility. It's more like a shelter.
Well, we don't know anything for sure yet. I thought the same thing you did, but then Sigma pointed out a couple of discrepancies.
Yeah. Thought I had already gone over it, but that's what I'd noticed. 1. If we were in a shelter for uninfected people, why had Quark been infected? A place designed to keep the virus like this out would have had safeguards to keep anything from getting in. Had the virus really bypassed all those measures? It didn't seem likely. 2. The timing of the abductions and the pandemic's outbreak was strange. It would make sense if we'd been rescued after the disease had been widespread, but that wasn't what happened. First, we'd been abducted and the pandemic had broken out. We didn't know why Zero had put us in the nonary game. If we were survivors he wanted to protect, then why try to kill us? If we were in a shelter, why wasn't it safe?
Well, what about this? Maybe someone anticipated the pandemic.
Yep.
I don't know who. Probably Zero. Anyway, they grabbed us before the pandemic really started. Then they put us in the shelter. But then, after a while, he got bored, so he decided to have us play this game to kill time.
Who knows would make people he rescued play a game where they could die because he was bored?
Well, we don't actually know if there is poison in this bracelet.
What?
You're the only one who's gotten injected so far. And when you did, it was only Soparil.
What are you saying? That what I did at the number 9 door was pointless?
No, that's not what I mean. That can't be it. I'm sure there's tubocurarine in the bracelets. The Atom's analysis confirmed it.
But what if the Atom is lying?
If you're going to do that, then we don't have anything to base any speculations on. You could say that the newspaper article was fake, or that the Latin journal wasn't real.
Or the journal was real, but my translation was a lie.
You made it up?
No, my translation was accurate. I'm just making the point that once you start talking about this stuff being fabricated, it doesn't stop. I don't think Zero is doing this just to take the piss out of a lime.
What?
I was just trying to stress that I don't think Zero would do this to pass the time.
Yeah. How do you make that mistake?
However, I do think Clover has half a point.
Meaning?
That someone did anticipate this pandemic. That part seems reasonable.
Yep, and then the Schrodinger's cat analysis where...
Well, if the virus was spread on purpose, then I could see how that might make sense.
Yeah.
And then trying to come up with something inside... So the Schrodinger's cat analysis is basically trying to create something on the inside, a reality.
It's not like
that
Noah put all the animals on his ark after the flood happened.
He went around before
having trouble
the rain
articulating.
started falling to gather them all up, right?
Are you saying that we were rescued because we're all that's left of humanity?
We were brought here because someone knew there would be a pandemic that would turn us into an endangered species? Does that mean we're supposed to repopulate the planet?
Repopulate. I say with the 3 girls on screen. 4 women, an old man, and a kid. Only one young fertile man. Oh god. Repopulation, huh? That didn't sound so bad. If that was the case, maybe there wasn't any reason to escape. The news and the journal were right, and the world outside was crawling with a deadly virus. Why would we expose ourselves to that? This would be the safest, happiest place on Earth. You know, we have all the food we need.
The game's over. There's no point to any of this now.
No, that's not true. The game might be over, but we've still got a lot of unanswered questions. In fact, we've got even more questions.
So, are those answers going to open the number 9 door again? It's all over. Why we're stuck here doesn't mean shit. The 8 of us aren't leaving, ever. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but this place is kind of big and it's got all the food we need. And water. 8?
You're including the old woman?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? What if the old lady is Zero Senior?
Yeah, you're right. We never even considered
But
that.
that would mean the person in charge of all this was murdered by somebody. That doesn't make sense.
Maybe she wasn't murdered.
Huh?
Are you saying she was infected with Radical 6?
And killed herself?
We didn't find a knife or any weapon in the AB room with her.
Maybe she was killed somewhere else. And then someone carried her in there.
No, Quark, you're crazy. What? That's ridiculous. Right, Luna?
Well, maybe we should go take a look at her one more time. Maybe we missed something.
Sure, okay. Look down at the body of the old woman. That was the first to move. Quietly and methodically, she began to examine the woman and her clothes. I just stood there. Even if she was dead, no, especially because she was dead, I just didn't feel right touching her. After a few silent minutes, Vi suddenly stopped. She pulled something from one of the old woman's sleeves and held it out toward me. Kurashiki. Akana Kurashiki? A card.
Looks like an ID card for this
Kane.
place. Since it's got her picture on it, I'd say it's a safe bet the card is hers.
Looks like her name is Kurashiki. Kurashiki. Ever heard of her before?
You?
Come on, Tenmyoji. Anything on the back? Pass equals Jumpy Doll. Something written here. It says Jumpy Doll.
Well, actually it says pass equals Joopy Doll. So I'm guessing Joopy Doll is a password of some sort.
What the hell does that mean?
Beats me.
Looks handwritten. She must have put it down here herself so she didn't forget it.
Yeah.
We're still looking for the card. Looking the card over when I heard a commotion from the other part of the room.
Alice! What's wrong? Alice!
Oh no.
What are you planning to do with that?
Divina turned around and gasped.
Damn it.
We ran to the other end of the room and skidded around the partition. Oh, she still got it. There stood Alice, her hand wrapped tightly around the scalpel. She didn't seem stable. Her eyes were flat and hollow. Her face was an emotionless mask. She was not well. The look on her face was all too familiar. Quark. She looked like Quark had before he went insane. But that meant...
Goodbye.
Her hand moved, lifting the scalpel up high in the air, then diving down toward her heart. Who got hit? Okay, she killed herself. So this one, we never found any of the Xavalier. Or we didn't replicate it. We only got the one. That's the Quark ending. An equal and opposite reaction. So that one was kind of an underwhelming ending. And like, the passcode we got from the old woman doesn't do anything. Except for, I mean, it connects it closer to Junpei, Jumpy Doll. And Phi even pronounced it Junpei Doll instead of Jumpy Doll. Okay. Well, let's go into the final ending. Nothing else left to do.
Huh.
Alright, sorry, I'm just gonna check over everything. Alright, got everything.
It opened.
We should get back to the Flore warehouse then.
Hey, wait. Did you guys hear something?
What?
You didn't hear it? It came from over here. Sounds like something turned on. Is this where I need Jumpy Doll? I told you the screen wasn't on before.
You're right. Guess it was set to turn on when we opened the door.
It looks like an authentication screen.
Did I need the other ending, actually?
I think we need to put in an ID and a password.
Yeah, but what?
As I noticed the illustration. The lion eating the sun. The lion eating the sun. The lion eating the... Memento Mori. Remember death. If the 9th lion ate the sun. Is this number 9? Oh, of course. This is the real 9th lion. But that was the case. Memento Mori. Remember death. Memento Mori. Oh yeah, I did need to do that one. Well, of course I was going to get that ending before I went to the final one. Remember. So you do use Jumpy Doll. So what's the username? Kirishiki? So it's not Memento Mori. Kurashiki. Did I spell that right? Hey! Good thing Japanese is easy to sound things out.
Sigma. Look!
What's up, girl? You're...
Akane.
He said it!
It's Akane Kurashiki. I've been looking for her for a very long time.
Yeah, that was kind of a lazy ending because they wanted to get to the point where you got the old woman thing, but then they didn't have anything else to say after that. So it just kind of abruptly ends with her killing herself. He walked toward her, slowly, carefully, almost as if he was afraid of scanning her away. He reached out, of scaring her away, scaring her away.
She's a hologram.
That's where you reach? Come on, man. Temioji squeezed his eyes shut.
Akane.
He closed his hand around empty air and let it fall to his side. There was a moment of sad silence, and then she began to speak.
I see you finally arrived. I've been waiting for you. Well, I suppose that's slightly inaccurate. What you see now is a holographic message I recorded before you came here. Unfortunately, this means I will not be able to answer your questions, at least not directly. I hope you will understand. Now, where to begin? You probably have a great many questions. What day is it? Where are we? Who is Zero? And what does he have to do with Akane Kurashiki? But I imagine there is one question that rises above all the others. Why were we brought here? The answer to that is simple. Everything that has happened here is part of our plan. All of this was required for the success of the AB project. I assume you heard the name by now, at least. In any event, you were all needed in order to execute our plan. The Nonary game was necessary for the same reason. Your question now, I imagine, is just what is this AB project? The answer to that is also simple. Allow me to explain. We created the AB project for one purpose: to transport the consciousnesses of two people into the past. Those two people are you, Sigma, and you, Phi.
What do you mean, the past? The moment the words were out of my mouth, I realized no one there could answer the question. Not Phi, not Tenmyoji, and certainly not a pre-recorded hologram.
Have you figured out what this room is? I assume you saw the Q on the door. It stands for quantum. That makes this the quantum room.
Took me a moment to realize she'd changed subjects without even pausing. There was nothing we could do, of course, but I still felt a twinge of frustration.
Take a look at the rear of the room. Do you see that large enclosure? That houses our quantum computer. The systems that control this entire facility run on that machine. That includes the construct you refer to as Zero Jr., as well as the golems. All of them do their thinking in that box. Isn't that strange, though? It seems contrary to how we perceive the world. The body, the thing that you see and interact with, is somewhere else. But the mind and all its thoughts are in this box. Perhaps it isn't so strange, though. Perhaps humans are the same, with our minds and thoughts existing separate from our bodies. Our core is in our head, of course. We all have individual brains, think individual thoughts, and act according to individual wills. That makes communication difficult, though. So, we're forced to rely on inefficient mediums, like language, photographs, nonverbal cues, etc., to transmit information. Each one of us is an individual, and we have no direct connection to anyone else. But is that really true? In the dimensions we are most familiar with, yes, it is. If we look at things from another higher dimension, however,
Yeah, separate realities
we may
and such.
all be connected after all, like the branches of a tree or a rhizome.
The fuck's a rhizome?
Imagine a horizontal cross-section of the root system of a large tree. All you can see are the spots where the roots intersect the plane of your cross-section. In the two dimensions you see, the roots all appear to be individual things with no connection to one another. But this isn't the case. If you expand your view and look at the root system in 3 dimensions, instead of only 2, you see the truth. All the roots join together at the trunk. In 2 dimensions, they appear to be separate. But if you look at the roots from a 3rd higher dimension, you see things that might
which is why they talked about the fourth dimension being time.
Doesn't that at least seem like it could be a possibility? I believe that is how human consciousness actually works. Well, I'm not the only one, I suppose. Zero and I share that belief.
Morphogenetic field theory.
Temyoji mumbled something that sounded like nonsense. I opened my mouth to ask him what he meant, but Akane was already talking again.
Now, when I talk about a fourth dimension, I'm referring to the fourth dimension used in Minkowski space-time. Let's start with a single dimension, where all that exists is a point. Connect points to one another, and you have a line. In one dimension, the only surface you can create is that, a line. But move to two dimensions and create more lines, and you can create shapes. These are two-dimensional surfaces. Move up to three dimensions, and you can connect these shapes to one another and form three-dimensional objects. Now you have a three-dimensional surface, which encompasses a volume of space. Connect three-dimensional objects to one another, and you formed a four-dimensional object, which encompasses a volume of both space and time. It is on that fourth-dimensional axis that our minds are connected. If that was true, then what would prevent anyone from sending their consciousness backward or forward in time? That theory is the foundation of the AB project. The A represents after, and the B represents before. It probably sounds silly to you. A ridiculous story made up by a bad old woman. But look at what's happened to you. You've seen many different worlds and timelines, haven't you, Sigma? And what about you, Phi? I know you have too. Am I wrong? Tenmyoji should know what I'm talking about as well. I believe you experienced something very similar nearly half a century ago. You sent your consciousness to the past to help save a little girl's life. It was a long time ago, but perhaps you still remember.
Yeah, of course I do. How could I forget? That little girl was you, Akane.
Suddenly felt like Phi and I were outsiders, trespassing on something we had no right to see. Temyoji's face was taut with emotion as he looked into Akane's eyes. It seemed almost like she was looking back at him.
Now, unfortunately, my time is up. The final stage of the project will begin very soon. I need to go prepare. The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting. One last thing. The cat in the box. Is it alive? Or is it dead? Sigma? Phi? You will decide its fate. Goodbye.
Wait! Akane, wait!
Oh, Tenmyoji. I can almost see you. You don't need to worry. Everything is going to be okay.
Oh, I hope they get
I
reunited.
will see you again one day. I promise. But I'm going to have to ask you to wait just a little longer.
Wait! Akane!
Just a little longer, dude. Then she was gone. Temyoji collapsed to his knees, his back hunched and shaking. I saw tears land on the white-knuckled fist he pressed against his thighs. I kept quiet. What was there to say? Phi and I looked at one another and nodded silently. With a shaking hand, Temioji pulled a photograph out of his pocket. It was a picture of a girl. After all we'd been through, her smile was enough to break your heart. That's his girl? We made our way to the warehouse on floor A and met up with the others. It took only a few minutes to decide to head to the infirmary. As soon as we arrived, we began to treat Alice and Cork for Radical 6. I gave Luna the Excavalier I found in the Q room. She prepared it. Injected Alice and Cork.
Thank goodness. It will take some time for them to recover completely, but they should be fine. Good.
Indeed.
Thank you, Luna. And thanks for finding the medicine, you guys. Thank you so much.
Don't sweat it.
No need to thank us.
Temioji said nothing, just walked over to Cork's unconscious body. He took the small boy's hand in his own and held it tight. I could see tears at the corner of his eyes as he turned away from us. Suddenly I remembered. Dio. Where has he gone? It didn't take me long to find him. Fuck yeah! He was sprawled out unconscious on the floor beneath the sink. Yeah! Handcuffs?
Oh, we found those in the crew quarters. Before you returned, we went to check on the bomb in room 2, and we found them there. Of course, the bomb was indeed turned off. Thank you again for dealing with them. You are, quite literally, lifesavers. You have my eternal gratitude.
I coughed awkwardly and pointed around the room. I glanced over at Phi to see she was doing the same. I looked pointedly around the room. After that, we headed to the Floor A warehouse to play the AB game. Specifically, me, Phi, K, and Luna. Clover and Temioji decided to remain in the infirmary just in case something happened with Alice, Cork, and Dio. Luna would represent Clover's team. With Cork and Dio sleeping, K would represent their team by default, which left me, Phi, and Temioji. You should vote.
No, I'll let you handle it. I chose Betray in the last round. You probably don't trust me right now.
What? It doesn't matter now.
Excuse me. I apologize for interrupting, but I think you should be the one to vote in the next round, Phi.
Why?
You already have 9 BP. There's no reason for you to choose Betray now. You see?
Hey, you're acting like I might actually try and betray her.
Not necessarily.
What does it matter what he's suggesting? We're almost there. We just have to play the AB game 3 more times. Then we can all get 9 points. But that means each representative has to choose ally all 3 times.
Okay, I'll vote. You sure you're alright with this, Sigma?
Yeah, I trust you. I hand her the star key.
Shall we open the doors?
Yeah, they're just doing that so they don't give me the choice to just fuck up and delay the story. Now it's a set path. Although if Dio's a single team, it doesn't matter actually. He could just be...
45 minutes remain until Amadex game polling closes.
So we're just gonna be chilling for a while, huh?
Yep.
Oh, oops, I guess I'm gonna cut her off. Oh, right. We have to wait for the deadline.
Well, we could vote earlier, but then each voter would be stuck inside the AB room for 45 minutes.
Okay, let's go back to the infirmary then.
I agree. Please, lead the way.
Luna and Kay set off toward the yellow door. I was about to follow when...
Hold on. I just remembered something.
What?
The AB room on the left. In one of the other histories, she...
Oh yeah. You're right. Kane's body was in there. What does this mean? Why didn't we find her body this time?
Maybe because she wasn't murdered.
But how? When did history change?
Do you remember what Akane said?
The cat in the box. Is it alive? Or is it dead? Sigma. Phi. You will decide its fate.
Schrodinger's cat thing.
Exactly.
And what she meant by us deciding its fate.
Perhaps she was saying her own fate wasn't decided yet.
Huh?
The history where she's alive and the history where she's murdered are both real right now.
What? No, that's impossible. We've already opened the box. We've opened the door to this AB room and there was no body.
No, we haven't opened the box. We haven't found a body, but we haven't found her alive yet either. In other words, we haven't actually observed her. The hologram was a recording from before this game started.
The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting.
Where was Akane now? Where was she waiting for us? But there's still her blood on the wall. What if she wasn't anywhere now? What if she was waiting for us in another timeline? What if she was waiting for us in the past? Was that even possible? That's what I was thinking. She was in a different timeline. If she was, what would that mean? Now that with all that I know, we just start and we end. AB room past. So this isn't even connected to the initial. This is just new. So we don't even play this game. Ah. Ow, 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 ow. Damn it. Feels like my head's gonna explode. Wait. Where the hell am I? Looks like an elevator,
No.
but...
This is one of the AB rooms.
Gah! Who the hell are you? What the hell's an AB room?
Damn. I guess you did lose your memory after all.
Memory? Memory? That's all it takes, huh? I remember. You're Phi. She grinned. That doesn't look like a grin. When is this?
Check your bracelet.
It's a red pair. BP is 3.
Mine's the same.
Does this mean this is the beginning of the game? We've gone back to when we first woke up in the AB room?
No, not quite. I think we woke up a little earlier this time.
How do you know?
Push the buttons on the side of your bracelet.
We're gonna stop the murder! 2 hours. 50 minutes.
We didn't wake up this long before the primary doors opened last time. I think we're about an hour early.
Wait a minute. If you're
Yeah.
right,
Akane might still be alive. We got back before Dio killed her. I think.
then...
Right. We're here for one reason.
But what about Radical 6? To stop her from being killed.
Exactly.
Let's move. We need to get out of here
Don't need to
fast.
tell me twice. Let's go.
Star, sun, moon. You need to remember the password for the save? Figured it out last time. There, it's open. Good work. Hurry. Now grab the cracker. Cracker? God damn, I meant key. How the hell? Just shut up and do it. For God's sakes, no need to yell. All right. Looks like that all worked. If I say 3, 2, 1. Ready, Fi? What do you think? I know. Just need to ask every time. Why the hell are you asking? Hurry up and... Right. I'm going. 10, 9, 8, 1. Done. God, I hate that. He counts down every time. Hey, you push the button. Bite me. You're taking too long. We're on a schedule here. Yeah, come on, Sigma. Finally, I climbed through the hatch and out the top of the AB room. Took us a moment to spot them. Akane! Behind her was Dio. He was moving quickly and quietly, a knife glinting in his right hand. Shit! There was no time to yell to her. I scrambled down to the top of the AB room. Vi wasn't following me. When I looked back, she was still standing on the roof. Vi, what the hell are you doing? Get down here and... Before I could finish, she moved. She ran across the roof, launching herself into the air. Get fucked. What the?
He's fine. Just unconscious.
Damn. Hit him again. I bent down and held my finger in front of his mouth. He was still breathing.
I don't think he saw me. He probably has no idea what happened to him.
Guy went down like a sack of potatoes.
He had it coming.
I heard footsteps come to a stop right in front of us. I looked up.
So you came. I've been waiting for you. You're here to hear the rest, right?
Wait. Just wait a minute. What the hell's your deal? How can you be so calm? What if he hadn't shown up just now? You'd...
Have been stabbed in the heart by this young man and died. Yes. Although, that reminds me, I haven't thanked you yet. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you saving me.
Oh wait, I forgot my timer today. Shit. That... What?
Hold on. How do you know about being stabbed by Dio?
Alright, we're at what? 49 hours? The time is very important to me. Knowing how long I've played this game. Plus an hour, 49 minutes. Or 45 minutes. So 50-45 is what we're at. Bam.
Are you an Esper too?
Yes. Indeed I am. I am able to jump through time, just like you.
Then what the hell were you thinking? If you knew he was going to stab you, why were we going to let him do it?
Because I had to.
You what?
Think back. Why are you here? If I hadn't been killed by Dio, no one else would have been murdered. Consequently, your own abilities would never have manifested. I did explain, didn't I? The purpose of the AB project was to send the two of you to the past. Or your minds, at least.
Because we're like 50 years into the future.
In order for that to happen, some death was necessary. When a human brain is faced with danger, its processing speed increases. Information is processed more quickly, and time almost seems to slow. A few seconds can feel like an eternity. Unfortunately, that in itself isn't enough to send oneself through time. The amplitude of the consciousness is simply too small. In order to increase the amplitude, we need to slow down the brain before the increase happens. It's a little like a slingshot. You pull back on the rubber band and then let go. The potential energy you stored in the band is released and converted into kinetic energy. That's what fires the bullet out of the slingshot. Now, while a slingshot can only fire in one direction, your mind isn't similarly limited. When the bullet of your consciousness is fired from the slingshot of your brain, it travels past the three-dimensional world and into the four-dimensional one. From that perspective, time is no longer fixed. In other words, you can travel to the future, the past, whenever you like. Your consciousness has been released from the three-dimensional cage. In order for that to happen, I had to infect you with Radical 6.
Whoa, what?
We were infected with Radical 6?
Oh, so Radical 6 was an ends to a means?
Yes. Don't you remember, Sigma? Luna should have told you about it in another timeline.
Are you sure?
Yeah, everyone has Radical 6.
Infecting all of these people was such a horrible disease.
Every single one of you has been infected. Well, apart from Luna, of course. Unfortunately, it was necessary. We needed to slow your minds in order to store up your potential energy. Then we provided a dire situation that would accelerate your processing speed. The result is what you are now experiencing. Your consciousness now occupies four-dimensional space-time. Even that, however, wasn't enough. You had the ability to travel, but your memories could easily be lost during the trip. If the project was to succeed, you had to be able to retain everything you learned in each reality. That was the reason you were forced to jump so many times. With each jump, your ability to remember improved. Eventually, you would be able to retain everything. That is why we made you play the AB game. That was why you had to select different chromatic doors. By forcing specific choices, we could cause you to make more jumps.
So now that I can remember everything, you want me to take the vaccine back in time? I get it. I think I finally understand. Okay, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but all of that you've just told me makes sense. You did. All of this so that Fa and I could jump through four-dimensional space with the memories intact.
Yes.
Right? But why did you need us to do that? People have died for this. I mean, let's count how many different ways people have died. Murder, antimatter explosion, suicide. I've died, so has Fi. So have you. Oh, Luna. was necessary. So why would you do all of this? What does it matter that fine I could jump through time?
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. You were all destined to die. Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
I already know all that. What I'm asking is why? Why is it so goddamn important that it's worth all of this?
I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually.
What? Just when is eventually?
In a future not very far from now.
Bullshit. That's not good enough. Why can't you tell us now? Instead of answering, Connie knelt down next to Dio and picked the knife off the floor.
I'm going to keep this with me.
Don't change the subject.
But it's almost time.
What are you talking about? We've got plenty of time.
No. In a few moments, you'll return to the original timeline.
What?
This is the way it has to be. Don't fight it. Lagomorph.
That's Zero's name.
Yes. Lagomorph?
You call him Zero Jr. His official designation is Lagomorph. Lagomorph, this is an order. Unlock my bracelet.
Compliance.
Gonna put it on Dio.
Now, everything is in place. I have put the bracelet onto Dio. All we have to do is place his body in the 5th AB room, the second one from the right.
That's the one Quark is in, right?
Correct. I will move him. I will also put your bodies back into the 3rd AB room. Once that's done, I will reset its puzzle to an unsolved state.
Why do you need to do all that?
To recreate the history that you remember. Your consciousness is about to leave your body and return to the future. Your body will be emptied, and your other consciousness will jump back in. If your bodies aren't back in the 3rd AB room by then, it would be bad.
So you're saying some version of us is going to wake up in that room and repeat the same history again? Well, I guess this could actually be our 2nd or 3rd time.
You are exactly correct. Lastly, I'm going to leave this with you.
She paused and pulled something out of her pocket. It was a small key attached to a spring. The grave in the garden?
I'll tie it onto your ankle so that you won't lose it. All right, Sigma?
What's it say on here?
Tu fui ego eris.
It's Latin. It means, what you are, I was. What I am, you will be.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do with it?
It will help you meet someone who's very important.
What?
Go. Return to the future. You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you. Now hurry.
Wait, I still... So now we created a scenario in which she's alive, but everything else... Now we can't access that, but we have the key. What up, Omega? All right. Getting so close to the end.
Looks like you're awake.
Is this the infirmary?
Why are we here?
Do you know what happened at the AB gate?
Kay and I went back to the infirmary, but
We waited and waited, and the two of you never returned.
so we went to the warehouse to check on you.
We found you passed out in front of the AB rooms.
Kay and I hurried back here with you.
I looked over at Fi and met her eyes. Do you remember what happened just now?
You mean what happened a long time ago?
Yeah. You got him pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I remember all right.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
It's good to see you, Omega. Alright, Quark.
What am I? Chopped liver?
Alice.
Back among the conscious and not psychotic, huh?
Yeah, thanks.
Grandpa told me what
Kinda
to say.
psychotic.
Thanks for finding the medicine for us.
Jock kicked him in the back of the head. Although, wouldn't mind a little swimsuit action. Who am I talking to right now? I'm just talking to Quark.
Really grabbing at straws here, aren't you?
Jock kicked him in the back of the head from the top of the AB room. Damn right. Hey, I wasn't talking to Quark. That was an offer for Alice. She's already doing much more than swimsuit action. Jesus Christ. There's no room for imagination
Not
here.
really my point.
Oh, whatever. Forget about that. Now that you guys are awake, all we gotta do is open the number 9 door.
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Look at your bracelet.
Oh, they already did that. It says 10. I have 10 BP.
I've got 15 BP. That means I got 6 more points while I was out.
But how? Only one person needs to
You've been
vote.
asleep for more than 2 hours. We've played the AB game 3 times.
3 times?
Yes. Of course, the color and group assignments were shuffled around each time. But no matter who voted, everyone chose Ally.
Yeah, as long as one of the 3 people in each set of 3
And now all of
had
us
a conscious
have enough
member.
to leave.
I was stunned. How would everyone cooperated long enough to raise all our BP past 9? Because people don't suck? Was it because Akane hadn't been killed? Thought a death to start things off, maybe we'd been less suspicious of one another. Of course, bombs had something to do with it. Could have something to do with it. But joined forces against Dio and Fi, and I have been able to disarm all of them. All of us have banded together against a common enemy and overcome a tremendous threat. Perhaps that had strengthened our bond. I remember that. Which I had to admit would be somewhat ironic. After all, Dio had planted the bombs that forced us all to work together against him. Must have been what Akane was talking about. He was required.
I told you, death was unavoidable. Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
Come on, let's go! Let's open the door and get out of here!
No. One last thing. Wait. What about him? After some discussion, we decided to leave Dio behind. Alice was the only holdout. She complained about wanting to take him back to her superiors. After I mentioned he'd come back to investigate after we escaped the deal with Dio, then she reluctantly complied. Okay, so she could just stay
All right.
here.
Let's get going.
And the cool thing is none of us that's inside this experiment have seen the Radical 6 outbreak firsthand, right? None of us know about it. So in this reality, the outbreak doesn't exist? No, I don't think that's right, because Luna and, not Luna, Akane know about it. Temioji probably does, because he lived in it. If we're ready, I'm going to open it.
Yes, just get on with it.
No, the key, the key, the key. Everyone else swallowed and nodded. I grabbed the lever and pulled it down. No, this isn't right. We didn't go to the key. Did someone else grab the key off of me?
The number 9 door has been opened. It will remain open for 9 seconds.
Alright, everyone, let's move. I didn't need to tell them twice. The room was clearly with... the room inside was clearly a loading elevator. It looked like a large plate on top of a huge pedestal. I ran to the center of the plate and turned around. The number 9 door stood wide
2,
open.
1, 0. The number 9 door is closing.
You don't remember the key? We didn't get Akane? What the hell?
The number 9 door has closed. This ends the Nonary game. Thank you for your participation. As the game is over, all doors other than the number 9 door have been unlocked.
Why did we open the garden? Do I need to do it in this reality or what? This looks like a tombstone. People buried. What does it mean? Beats me. Any ideas, Luna? Do I not have the key? Look at your ankle, dude. Yeah, there's only like one timeline left. I could jump back here and get that. Whatever. Let's just jump back here again. Okay, we got some stuff to skip.
Why are we here?
Like, I'm wondering why we're not using this key. That's what's bugging me. I thought, like, maybe I needed to go back to B Garden. Like, the game...
The number 9 door has been opened.
Like, I thought maybe it's like you had to remember where it was. So, I was forced to go back to the grave. But
It will remain.
I went back to the grave and nothing happened. I couldn't do anything with it. So, I thought like maybe I was going to get a flashback or something. Unless there's a different time I'm in that room, but...
2, 1.
I'm in that room several times. In just like cutscenes and just like dialogue sections. Whatever. It doesn't feel right to leave without her. Am I gonna remember? Am I gonna remember later and then figure out that we need to get back in? Can't say? Well, thank you for not saying. And holding restraint.
Looks like we did it.
Yes, we should keep moving.
The other door was a wide hallway that ended in a very solid wall. To the left, we found a very familiar looking door. We pushed it open and went in. PEC. Pressure exchange chamber. Yep.
You know what this place is?
Yeah, sort of. The whole facility is pressurized, apparently. I think the idea is to keep air outside and consequently the virus from getting inside. That means that if we want to go out, we have to decompress so we match the outside air pressure. This room here is where we prepare for going out into the actual pressure exchange room. You see all those suits along the wall? I figure we need to put those on and head to the decompression room downstairs.
Whoa! Hold on a minute! You're saying the air outside is full of that horrible virus?
But in this scenario, is it even going to be pressurized? Yeah, that's what it seems like. Of course, according to Akane, we were already infected with Radical 6, so the whole room seemed a little pointless.
Why? How did all this happen?
Did they?
No, that's not possible.
We've come this far. We can't turn back now. Let's go outside. There's no way to know what's really going on until we do.
Schrodinger's cat. Open the box. Right. Did we create the future we wanted? No one else objected. We all donned the protective suits and headed downstairs to the decompression room. As soon as we were all inside, the process began. Through my helmet, I could hear the soft hiss of air being sucked out of the room. We stood there for several minutes waiting for the process to finish. At last it did, and we heard the door begin to open. Behind it was another decompression chamber. We repeated the process 2 more times before we reached the final door and opened it. Still the Nevada desert. The dead, bleak landscape wasn't a surprise for me. I'd seen it before in another timeline. The others hadn't, however, and although I couldn't see their faces through the visor of their helmets, I heard more than a few gasps over the radio. For a few long moments, we just stood there, astonished.
Where the hell are we?
The desert, I guess?
I figured that out. I mean, which one?
I don't
Nevada.
know, but I think I know what day it is.
There's one particular thing I want to look at. Let's just do this. This is the thing. Nevada test site. Ramazone 9. This is like the passage of time, and then you have to go backwards. You have to go backwards again in order to get forward to the correct, and then there's branching paths. This is like the timeline of the AB game.
Look at the moon. It's red, right? That means today's the total lunar eclipse. So? Remember the astronomy magazine in the lounge? Well, the next eclipse like this was gonna be on December 31st, 2028. So...
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you suggesting we were sleeping for a week after we were abducted?
I think so.
Might be longer. Wherever we were must have been far away from any city. The air was clearer than I'd ever seen it. And the stars, the sky was full of them. More stars than I've ever seen in my life. I could even spot the hazy arm of the Milky Way. But the most striking feature was the moon. It was blood red and massive. Much bigger, in fact, than I remembered it being. Then, as I watched, a black spot began to move across its surface. It was hard to see the details, but it looked circular. The spot continued to move across the moon, heading for the right edge. What's that?
The moon. Well, the moon's shadow, actually.
The moon's shadow? I frowned. That didn't make any sense.
Zero told me to stay quiet. I think he was worried I'd spill the beans on his operation. He said if I didn't toe the line, he wouldn't just kill me. He'd kill Quark, too. And I agreed, like an idiot, and brought Quark with me. Just so I could see her. Such an idiot. So, that being the case, might as well start with this. I meant what I said before. That up there is the moon's shadow.
What the hell are you saying?
Think about it. If that's the moon's shadow, then what's it falling on?
That's Earth?
Yeah. It's not the red moon you get from a lunar eclipse. And again, this isn't a lunar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse. Anybody in the black spot down there is looking up at the moon covering the sun.
What? No. No way. That's the Earth. Then where the hell are we?
The moon, of course.
I thought that maybe we were going to be on the moon like way, way early on. And then, no.
This is the lunar surface.
Wow.
We were just inside a moon base. No way. No. You've got to be lying. How do you expect us to believe that? This can't be the moon.
Yeah,
Try jumping.
that's pretty ridiculous. Besides, if this was the moon, how do you explain the gravity? The moon only has 1/6 of the Earth's gravity.
Radical 6.
So what's this?
She picked up a rock and dropped it.
See? That looked perfectly normal.
Yes, it looked that way.
Because we all had Radical 6.
You were right about the gravity in a way. I was one of the people who knew this wasn't Earth. Well, I suppose I'm not people, if we're being honest, but
Excuse me? What?
please just listen. Alice, you were infected with Radical 6. Then we gave you the Excelivir, which cured you. The Radical 6 isn't completely gone, though. Some of its symptoms stick around for a while.
What symptoms?
Well, Radical 6 can slow down your brain's processing speed by the root of 1/6. It can take a while for your brain to get back up to speed. Every one of us has been infected,
In other words, all of our brains have been processing information at a much lower speed.
That's why Phi could jump so high.
If you evaluate the root of 1/6, you'll get a number close to 0.408. That means our brains are running at something slightly less than half speed. As you said before, the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth's.
That makes sense.
The time that it takes for an object to fall is inversely proportional
Oh,
to
that's
the
awesome.
root of the gravitational acceleration.
That I never expected. That's a
Since
twist.
gravity is lower on the
That's a good twist.
That means the time increases. I guess that's a little technical. Let me give you an example. Say you drop an apple from a height of 4.9
Sneezing.
meters. It will take approximately 1 second to hit the ground. On the moon, however, that time would be 1 second times root 6, which would be approximately 2.45 seconds. I used 4.9 meters because it matches up with the acceleration of gravity nicely, but it could be anything. The gravity constant is, well, a constant. You could drop something from 10 centimeters or 10 meters and it would be the same. Does that make sense? So now we've established that on the moon, things fall root 6 times slower than they do on Earth. That being the case, what would happen if someone's brain slowed down by root 1/6? To them, 2.45 seconds would feel like 1 second. 4.9 seconds would feel like 2. But it's not hypothetical. That's what's been happening to every one of us. Wait.
Except for things like me throwing darts at a dartboard, which I've done earlier, because he actually said that he was throwing the darts. He would be... Oh, but my body's moving slower too, so... Oh, God. Never mind. I guess that works.
You're saying that's the reason we didn't notice the weaker gravity? Are you sure you didn't notice anything? Think back. Huh? You and Sigmund Phi said something about it in the lounge. About how you felt weird. It's kind of like my body isn't really mine.
Yeah, because you're not using as much force to just stand.
I'm sort of floating. Like that.
Seems insane, but what Luna said made sense. In fact, it explained Phi's apparent superhuman strength quite well. But why didn't anyone else have that? Because everyone should have been able to do that.
Wait. This is crazy. That can't possibly be Earth out there. Look at it. I've seen photos of Earth and it's blue and green and beautiful. That thing is just red.
Just during the eclipse.
Before we get into that, I should probably tell you something. This isn't New Year's Eve in 2028.
Yeah.
Today is January 27th.
In 29?
No.
Don't tell me. 30?
Still no.
Just what year is this?
It's 74. 2074.
No. That's insane. That would mean we were abducted 45 years ago. Yeah.
I don't blame you if you don't believe me, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, he told them who he is.
How can you be sure?
It's not that hard. Quark and I left Earth on January 23rd, 2074. Solar eclipses are easy to predict. We've known that there'd be one on the 27th for a long time. That's just science. Nobody can change that.
It's just science.
But why is the Earth red?
That's a long story. About 45 years ago, on April 13th, 2029, there were 18 annihilation reactors operating in various parts of the world. On the 13th, all 18 of them went up, all at the same time. The explosion was about 180,000 times as powerful as the atom bomb they dropped on Hiroshima.
Oh,
I
shit.
suppose it started a few months before that. The government had a test site for a future Mars mission out in the middle sense of the thing. The point is, Radical 6 claimed its first victims there, then escaped. Didn't take long for it to spread to the rest of the world. Like Luna explained, the virus slows your brain down, but eventually, it also makes you kill yourself. Pretty soon, the bodies started to pile up. Some people would take a dive off a building or shoot themselves in the head. You know, the classics.
The classics.
But for some, it was poison, or fire, or asphyxiation, or the noose. Plenty of people jumped in front of trains or cars. One pilot on a passenger airline drove his plane into the ground. Most forms of transportation ground to a halt pretty fast. That meant food couldn't get distributed, and thousands of people who weren't even infected died from starvation. Everywhere you went, there were just piles of corpses, covered in flies and rats and crows. I don't know what hell's like, but I imagine it's a lot like that. After a while, people who managed to avoid getting infected started trying to get in touch with one another. They got a hold of some radios and organized a couple meetings. There was only one thing to discuss, of course. How could they get rid of Radical 6? The answer, they decided, was purification. They figured they could just roast the surface of the Earth and that'd kill the virus off for good.
What?
On April 13th,
You need to fight it on a you need to fight it on a molecular level. You don't just light things on fire that you don't.
That plan was to detonate all 18 annihilation reactors. Now the truth is, that's mostly just rumor. Nobody really knows what happened. But I've got my own theories. I think that the bombers had already been infected, and when they died, they took billions with them.
Oh.
The ultimate if I die, you're coming with me gesture, I suppose. I bet you money they all lost it long before they got to the reactors. Killing most of the world, no matter how bad things had gotten, was not a sane plan, even if it wasn't directly responsible. Radical 6 killed most of the people on Earth. Anyway, why it happened isn't that important. Point is, it happened. You ever heard of nuclear winter? Well, that's basically what we got. The explosion threw a ton of crap up into the stratosphere, where it joined up with smoke and ash from all the fires. It blotted out the sun for 7 years.
7 years of falling ash, debris.
Plants withered and animals died by the millions. The few humans who were left banded together to survive. They were rough
You and
times.
Quark.
Eventually, they were over, though. The sky cleared and the sun came back. Plants started blooming again, and the animals that hadn't died out completely began to reappear. Things weren't quite back to normal, though. It's been 45 years now, but there's still quite a bit of dust and ash in the air. That's what you're seeing. Do you know why a sunset's red? Well, this is the same thing. Blue and green light have short wavelengths, and they scatter when they run into debris in the air. Red light, on the other hand, has a longer wavelength, which means it'll get a lot farther when the air's dirty. So there you are. The Earth looks red because that's the only color of light that can make it through the atmosphere.
Sure. I'll take that explanation. I was speechless. What could I possibly say? There's no reason for Tenmyouchi to lie to us. So we were standing on the moon, looking at the Earth. It was 2074. But why? Why were we there? Why were we then? I was so lost I barely noticed Five's approach.
Hey, Sigma, I think I figured something out.
A window popped up inside my helmet with Whisper in the corner. She seemed to be using a circuit only we could hear. Yeah? What was it?
I figured out why there's an extra E.
Extra E? The Ninth Lion. You mean the graffiti?
Yeah, the one on floor B. I think it's an anagram. just like on floor A.
Okay, what is it? How did you memorize that whole thing? And then piece it together in your head? What's Anna say this time?
God damn it, Sigma! Knock it off! Memento mori if the ninth lion ate the sun. If you rearrange the letters, you get... The man on the moon rules the infinite time. See?
The man on the moon rules the infinite time.
You need 6 E's to get that. So they stuck an extra one at ninth.
Now, how'd you come up with that? I don't know. Once she found out we were on the moon, then she knew moon was in there, so she worked backwards from there.
I think it's a message for us from Zero Senior and Akane. Remember what she was telling us?
We created the AB project for one purpose. To transport the consciousnesses of 2 people into the past. Those 2 people are you, Sigma, and you, Father.
1000 IQ. Yeah. So, where are you getting at?
My God, you're slow. You don't get it?
I have Radical 6. Lay off me.
They're saying we rule the infinite time. Infinite time. They weren't just talking about having us jump a couple hours. I think they're planning to send us back. Way back.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you think they're going to send us back 45 years?
Yeah. I'd bet on it.
The ultimate purpose of the AB project is to send us back in time to that catastrophe Temyoji was talking about.
I think so.
That doesn't make sense, though. I mean, we came from the same time period before it, actually. So why bring us here and then send us back?
Well, Akane should be able to tell us the rest. Let's go pay her a visit.
Do you know where she is?
I've got an idea. Come on, think. Remember what she said when she gave you the key?
Yeah, I got it immediately.
Tu fui ego eris.
I got it frame 1. The grave. The one in the garden.
Well, come on. What are you waiting for? Let's go.
Turner ran back to the pressure exchange chamber and the others followed close behind.
What are you doing? Did you forget something?
We're gonna have to talk with somebody.
Who?
You really need me to spell it out? The person behind all of this.
You mean Akane?
What?
I'll take that as a yes. Let me accompany you then.
Wait, why do you know about Akane?
I was wondering what K's significance is.
Now, if you please.
I'm coming with you. You folks just said the magic word.
I'm going
Connie?
So am I.
Hey, is this Akane you're talking about?
Yeah, you know her real well.
Wait, you're serious? What the hell is going on?
Ah, shut up. Just shut up. Come if you want to. We need to do a roll call. Once we get there, Akane can explain everything. With that, we're heading back through the airlock. We can get back in? And yes, everyone's talking insanely slow this whole time. It's probably really frustrating for Luna. Also, does that mean that did Akane have the virus too? Or did she just like intentionally talk really slow so that we can understand her.
The number 9 door on floor A is shut forever once the game ends.
Luna has to change her
Assuming
settings.
Zero Jr. was telling the truth, of course.
And Akane, did she have the virus, or did she just talk really slow?
The door on floor B.
Yeah. Thought we might be able to take the lift to it.
Oh, the floor
Looks
B.
like I was right.
Any idea where Akane might be?
Yeah, the grave.
You mean the grave in the garden?
Yeah, don't worry. I don't think she's buried there or anything. Chances are she's alive, just in the grave. Anyway, let's move to the garden. You don't think they mentioned it? Yeah, she could just fake it for one conversation. She knows the secrets, so she could just intentionally... I wanted to unlock this grave while we were still all in there and really confused.
Is Akane really under here?
I think so.
What should we do? Are we gonna dig her out?
No. I don't think we'll have to do anything like that. See, the keyhole in the grave. If I just insert this here. I pulled the key off my ankle and fitted it to the hole. I twisted it to the right until I heard something unlock. With a quiet grinding, the grave began to shift. Treatment pod.
What is this?
Cold sleep?
It doesn't look like a coffin.
Yeah. It's a treatment pod.
Oh my god. It is, isn't it?
Glass on the cover frosted over, making it opaque. Couldn't see who or what was in it.
Let's see what's inside.
She grabbed a hold of the lever on the side of the pod. This is gonna be her, isn't it? Who else would it be? Something to do
No
with
good.
K?
I think it's locked.
What?
Treatment pod TP00.
Tessie?
Stage 1, defrosting complete. Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Stage 2 is complete. The lock will automatically disengage.
Right, cold sleep.
What?
These pods can put people into cold sleep. Use something called CAS to freeze human bodies without destroying their cells.
So, Miss Akane's like an ice cube?
I think so.
Then we gotta wait till she melts?
Yeah.
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay? Specifically, why do you know Akane?
I remembered.
What do you remember?
Everything. I was born and raised in this facility. It's called Rhizome 9.
Yep.
A rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one. Well, I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they? In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB project.
The AB project?
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least, to the past.
Back 45 years, right?
Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding.
Okay. I'm just thinking, what could this crazy weird ending be? Is this something like Sigma is like Ace or something, and then like Ace is behind all of Radical 6, and then
That's our mission?
I don't know. What could it possibly be?
Well, not exactly. It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population.
And Ace is a part of Free the Soul, who used Radical 6 to pure the earth, yada yada yada.
But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
What do you mean?
Let me begin at the beginning. You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this, but that's not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen. It was the only choice they had. Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game, and why the chromatic doors were necessary. By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps. We speculated that jumping more would strengthen your memories. The puzzles were also there for a purpose. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle strengthens your connection to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan. By slowing down your brain's processing speed, we can store your potential. With that energy stored,
then it
we just had to
snaps
provide
forward.
a life or death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
Wait, hold on just a minute here. You keep talking about Sigma and Phi, but what about the rest of us? Why did you bring us here?
That's simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories. Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you. In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain. Very well. I will try and do so in a way you can understand.
Please
First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028.
I mean, they were required for their knowledge of Free the Soul.
The location is
And,
Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029. Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine. Following your arrival, your pods were placed in long-term storage. Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
Yes. In preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't you, Clover? I mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension. Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking. As I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of resonate with one another, which can amplify their power. You understand? This is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bombs.
Huh?
But I didn't do anything.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind. Only you could do that sort of thing. Because of your feat of mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs. Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used that information to stop the bomb in this timeline. Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust. This history exists because of your presence. Now, let me explain why we needed Tenmyoji and Quark. Tenmyoji is simple. We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover. You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi, so we brought you here. All it took was a messenger.
Do you want to see Akane? If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you. In fact, you insisted that he come.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I hadn't been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened to you. I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, we headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out. And when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Now, Dio. His real name is Left, and he's the leader of a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons. He was ordered to come here. The Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul, which is in turn controlled by a man known as Brother. It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6 into the general population 45 years ago. Do you remember what Phi mentioned earlier? The ultimate purpose of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization. Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility.
Prevent us from doing what we just did.
They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given two tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it. If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed. At least, not in that timeline. In other words, in that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan.
Blow
If you
everything up.
cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9. Hence, the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about the AB project?
He was also an Esper. We can set Brother aside for now, though. May I proceed?
No one objected. We were all curious.
Excellent. That explains everyone, save two, Luna and myself. Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves at a later time. Would that be all right with you, Luna?
Yes, that's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility, but I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma. In another timeline.
Yeah? Well, I saw a hologram. Don't know who he is.
Stage 2 is complete. TP-00 unlocking.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Yeah, let's do it. All of us gathered around the pod. The glass was filled with frost, hiding the contents.
Okay. Let's get started then. Ready?
Fi laid her hand on the lever and looked around at us. I swallowed. Yeah, anytime.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Who the fuck is it? It's me. What? Suddenly my head was full of memories from the timelines. I'd seen something like this before. The warehouse be floor B, in front of the white door. Kay was lying in front of me. Grabbed his masks and saw my own face. I figured out who he really was. I never figured out who he really was. Why there was a man with my face underneath Kay's armor. Didn't make any sense. After I'd seen him, I was injected with tribocurine, and that was the end of that. But wait, the person in the pod was the same person I'd seen on the floor of the warehouse. Who's wearing Kay's armor?
You finally noticed. Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you.
No. Oh my god, you're...
I am.
Akane Kurashiki.
It's you! June! I mean, Akane, from... But you're old.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time.
Hugger Ted Mioji.
Or you, Junpei.
Junpei?
Akane, long time no see.
I could barely hear what they were saying. My mind was still reeling. I felt like all the air had been knocked out of me, and it was all I could do not to collapse right then and there.
When? How long?
Do you remember when the two of you saved me in the warehouse?
Swapped him.
Once you saved me, you went back to your future. Well, your minds did at least. I carried your bodies to the 3rd AB room, and then took Dio's to the 5th. After that, I went into the 1st room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
Yes.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Dio killed you. And then Luna took your body to the 6th room? You couldn't have been in Kay's armor. It's a fake, it's a robot.
No, it was me.
Oh.
In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat. Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
What? No, that's nuts.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of Soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
And so you were just carrying people around then? Being Sigma? You were just dragging Dio by his legs through doors?
So, who is he?
You've never seen him before?
No.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
I've never seen him before.
Me either.
Oh, God.
Total stranger.
Hey, come on, what are you guys saying? Right here. Same face?
Huh? Huh?
Are you alright, Mr. Sigma? Did you hit your head or something?
What do I look like? What? Didn't make any sense. Why didn't they recognize me?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time. You can inhabit your body in the past or in the future.
What does that mean?
Don't you get it? You've jumped to the future. From 45 years ago.
I looked around frantically. The pond. I ran to it and threw myself down on my knees. Crawling on all fours, I approached the ledge. My heart was hammering inside my chest. A cold sweat tickled down my spine. Calm down. Calm down. I mean, this game has used mirrors in it. At least reflections. Calm down, calm down, calm down, damn it. I struggled to take deep breaths, then slowly I peered into the pond, looking for my reflection. What? No, this can't be real. This face.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb. Although
I'm
to the
Zero.
you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
I did it. I didn't see that coming. How we hadn't noticed. Yeah.
It's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good.
Like, you could just look at your arms and just see.
Please, Doctor. You will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
People kept calling him old, did they?
You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him. His name
Hey, I haven't
is
seen.
Kyle
I haven't played
Klein.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle. Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future. When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it. It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the nonary game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
Wait, what? So the younger version of me was wearing that armor. To make him stronger, he wears the armor. But why would future me create a clone?
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began,
Also,
he would take your place.
one of my eyes is like mechanical. Did I never touch my face? Or winced a little
I
bit
mentioned
and then
before
feel the
that
metal on my
AB
face?
Projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul, or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch. That was the
switch.
chief goal of the project.
Wait, so the future person goes into the past person.
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making. A is where everything began. December 25th, 2028. You inhaled the white smoke in your car and lost consciousness. From there,
Jump to B
January
in the future.
25th, 2074. You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years old. Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future.
No wonder I couldn't jump like Fi could.
I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out.
What about Clover?
Moving on, if you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
Whoa, wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact. Have you already forgotten? You were all infected with Radical 6. The virus slowed your brain down. So yes, 36 hours of real time have passed. But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, so our watches must have been going slow
Now comes
the whole
the
time.
important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029. You will return to your younger body.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened. The story does not end there, however. The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B. But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal. Your consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body, until you reach point B. Do you remember when B is, Sigma?
January 25th, 2074. According to what you just told us, it's 36 hours ago.
Correct. That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma. So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Point A. December 25th, 2028, the day all of this started.
Yes. His consciousness will go back in time 45 years.
And then,
For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past.
once that body reaches point D, the 22-year-old conscious will come back to point C.
That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body and return to your body at C.
So it's rotating.
Rotating. I suppose you could put it that way, but look at this illustration closely.
With point
What
E.
if you take all these lines and untangle them? You get one single line. It may look complicated, but in truth, it's a single straight path, with one exception.
It's a break path right here. Point E, right?
Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028, the day of the total eclipse.
The day Radical and I got out of the test facility.
Yes. By now, you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the AB project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to point A. If we can do that, we can change what happened 45 years ago.
Yep. So the old version of me will keep Radical 6 from getting out by jumping into my 22-year-old body on New Year's Eve 2028.
Yes, that is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B, we first have to go through point D. In order to get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility. That is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point, so that we might save humankind from destruction and undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
Tell me one thing.
What is that?
You said that point C is January 27th, 2074, which is today. There's got to be a jump, and I'll jump to April 13th, 2029.
Yes, that's right.
But, look, I'm still old. When is this jump supposed to happen?
Very soon.
Soon?
Yes.
What's gonna trigger it?
We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that. Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness, like a bullet from a slingshot.
And how do you propose we do that?
Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain.
What do you mean?
You haven't figured it out. I mean this.
Dios knife? No sooner were the words out of my mouth. Fi! I screamed and leapt towards them. Kane was already in motion, the knife driving towards Fi's chest. It was almost there. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There was a dull pain in my chest. I felt for the cut, but something was in the way. It took me a moment to realize that it was Akane's body lying on top of me. I twisted my neck to look around. Nearby was an old tombstone. On it was written a few words in Latin. Tu fui ego edis. What you are, I was. What I am, you will be. Hence the jumping. Oh, and they changed the credits. Why did it say Akane 22 years old? Oh, do we do it? Is it over? Or is there more? This was so stupid. The DL thing. Written lowercase, reflected on the other thigh. So stupid. It means 16. This was fun. This is a good game. I enjoyed it. This is very long though. 52-hour game. And I beat it in about 20 days, so 2 hours a day for 20 days. This game has been about 10% of my life for 20 days. It's a lot. Get 'em! Save the past. Time after time. This is the Radical 6 outbreak.
Today is April 13th, 2029. And this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read. All of our station's reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6. So have my...
It's gonna show all A, B, C, D, E.
Have managed to keep us on the air until now. But I'm out of tricks. It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast day. I pray that someday our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye.
Damn. For a moment, I just stared at the TV. The door of the static seemed to be filled the entire room, till, with a click, it disappeared too. Have the Ponder gotten out? I heard footsteps behind me and turned around. You. Kane?
It looks like the first step was successful.
The fuck? You killed me!
Killed?
Because technically you're going to kill me 45 years from now, but still.
Hey, no need to be rude about it. I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of the knife. You're fine.
I'm okay? She had a different voice in the 3DS version?
Yes. You and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. That was the only way.
Me and Phi?
Yes. I only told you about you, but we also needed Phi to jump. Now, you know what happens next, right?
Oh, okay. We go to the moon?
Correct. We will be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029.
She's a lot more assertive and sure in her words than a 999, it sounds like.
We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle. Only a few last-minute checks and additions. You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9, along with 3 treatment pods.
Alice and Clover, right?
Yes.
What about the third one? Who's in there?
Phi. We put her into cold sleep 2 days ago. She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who jumped from point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from point A to point D. In other words, she was following the same path you are, and she still is.
And that means after you froze her body, the point C version of her jumped back into her body?
Yes. The point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years, sleeping in ice.
And when she gets to point B, her consciousness will jump to point A, right?
Correct.
Huh. So that's why she didn't look old. So why do you stick me in one of those pods? Why don't you stick me in one of those pods?
We can't do that.
Why not?
You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project. After arriving at Rhizome, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence
This is
programming,
bullshit.
among other disciplines. Otherwise, you will be unable to create Kyle, Luna, and Lagomorph. And, of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark. Once you've completed all the preparations, then the project can actually begin. January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the third AB room. Once you've done that, the 22-year-old version of you from point A will force you out, and you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
And then stop. Radical 6. Fuck! I got busy. This sucks. And then I change history. Do you think I could keep the virus from getting out?
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die. Only you and Phi can save them.
What about you? Aren't you an Esper too?
I can't do anything on my own. If this is going to work, I'll need your help.
So what do I need to do?
What do you mean?
Like, what specific actions do I need to take? If I and I jump to point A, what are we gonna do then?
You'll both enter the Mars mission test site.
And after that?
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical 6 escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place.
Ah, crap. Then we're screwed.
That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds. We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility. Things will be difficult, and I'm sure you will find yourself in a great deal of danger. But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle.
Wait. How do you know it's so dangerous?
The 67-year-old version of you told me what happened. He wasn't able to stop the virus. So I suppose you could say you told me after you failed.
What did I say?
That the test facility is full of traps. There was one point, a woman's life was in danger. You risked yourself for her sake, and lost your arms and your right eye.
My arms? My right eye? The hell? Suddenly a low rumble shook the building. What? What was that?
Go have a look.
And then Ivan discovered how to make the technology for his skin. Yet, I moved slowly to the window and peered outside. On the horizon, I could see a massive mushroom cloud climbing slowly towards the sky. Would I really be able to change the course of history? No. That was the wrong way to look at it. It couldn't be a question. I had to change history. We could save the world. I'm going to change history. I stared at the darkened sky above us and steeled myself. I would succeed. Saw the end or maybe the beginning. Is there nothing left? What's this?
Where?
I see you've finally woken up, Kyle.
Kyle.
Ah, yes. Of course. You've only just
Hi,
woken up
Luna.
in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran to the other side of the partition. The mirror of the sink was covered with a film of dirt. I wiped off my sleeve. My reflection stared back at me. There was no mistake. The reflection belonged to...
Climb. So, I'm Dr. Climb? Zero Senior's clone?
What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
An excellent question, one I didn't quite know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Klim was. In another history, he was called K and worn a suit of armor. He hadn't just worn the armor in that history, though. He apparently worn it all his life. Kyle had been born and raised in a lunar installation, which seemed to be called Rhizome 9. Rather late in life, Akane had appeared as a mother figure, as he had consequently grown very attached to her. I knew everything about him. But everything I knew, I didn't feel. Is that really Kyle Klim? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Klim in his younger days. I looked down. There was Dio still handcuffed. I turned back to Luna.
What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
Today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden. And she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral. It just takes a while to have an effect.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes,
Why am I here?
the doctor carried you back here. You were in the pod in the garden.
So the person you call the doctor is Sigma Klein, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes, I've been administering Soparil whenever he gets restless.
Good job, Luna.
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
Oh, right. Mr. Klein.
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one.
Without the robotic filter?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We
That
were just
is
about
his
to get
voice, huh? I
dressed
didn't
and
even
head out.
realize it.
You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean.
Yeah.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Klein now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you? You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened.
Yeah, but my timeline is different, but yours is still fucked. Yeah,
Whatever
I get it.
Sigma does in the past, history's not going to change. In fact, it's because of what he did or didn't do in the past that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. "Let's go northwest," he says. So they take the northwestern road. But about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers. 90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh?
That's you.
Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
Right. Okay, 9 people then. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories, friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting, even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness, even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can Look, I'm just not going to accept that, alright? You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Cork will never meet.
Is he right?
No, it's not going to happen. We're here right now.
In this timeline, this is
Even
real.
if Sigma does change the past, we're not just going to disappear or something.
Oh, then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Thanks, kid.
I understand how you feel. Why you want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Have you already said goodbye to the others?
Bye, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. We told them we'd see them again someday, and then came here.
They were the only people you want to say goodbye to?
No point saying anything to Dio.
Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too.
Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you.
You have a point. Akane was in the armor in this timeline, after all. What about Sigma?
Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore.
Of course. He is Dr. Klein now that his consciousness has returned.
Yeah,
Yep.
but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know?
And Akane?
Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew. She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years.
Oh.
Hell, she might not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere.
That's sad. He lost
In
that
the
part
end,
of him.
Clover and I were just pawns. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we're completely resentful. We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand. But
Kinda sucks, though.
Yeah, everyone that you
Sigma
knew is
and
gone.
Phi have it easy. They get to go back to December 25th in 2028.
And you'll get to see your
They'll
brother.
stop the Radical Six and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen.
we don't. We're stuck with Point C as our starting point.
You told us about Tenmyoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest.
Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, S's consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection.
If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers would be sealed. But
it's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died.
Are we just supposed to go live on Earth? It's a wasteland now. And what about our friends and families? We left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
Even if it is for the greater good?
It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
So we went and talked to the old lady.
She told us that there is one way.
One way we could get back to the past.
Let's say you do go back to the past. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right.
But this is different.
Different? How so?
From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time, too.
That's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have 2 Clovers and 2 Alices at the same time?
But that wouldn't happen.
Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
Schrodinger's
cat.
Oh, hey, Kyle.
So the one that's stuck in the chamber you never open and see. So there's a future where it's in there, a future where it's not.
Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Klein? Luna said you were with him.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now. There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Sure.
Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately, my circumstances make that an impossibility. I hope you can forgive me.
I just want to go to bed.
Everything I know, Phi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is.
Okay, let's just get through this.
What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
Right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or a Merman or a Wolfman. I'm not a Brahmin or Common or Ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you really don't need to worry about anything.
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. Although by then you were in cold sleep, you wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then on January 25th, 2074, you were finally thawed out, even though you didn't wake up. Still unconscious, you were carried to the AB room. That was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out and sending you back to December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility. Unfortunately, your plan failed. The Radical Six did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from Point E, you headed straight to Point D.
Yeah, back to
Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods. Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future. It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. This caused the two versions of you to swap places, and you moved 45 years into the future where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back into the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about you got right.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor. It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus v1 times v2 over c squared is the actual equation. Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus v1 times v2 divided by c squared is usually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1.
Also, could Sigma not hear his own voice this whole time?
Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use v1 plus v2. You see what I'm saying? In most situations, it works, even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about right. As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I don't quite understand. In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So was that what you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical 6 in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with the simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but I can't tell you that.
Why?
Because it would change history. There is a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation, and Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear.
Schrodinger's
You
cat.
understand?
I don't. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
And where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about. You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this? You know my past. Sigma's past.
I shall give you your answer. You are not Kyle Climb. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Think about it. Do you really believe you're Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then, where is the real Kyle's consciousness?
He was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking, he has arrived at December 25th, 2028. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the Doctor loves Kyle. He raised him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Climb's spare, but that was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve, 2028. Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
And that is why he created him?
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the Doctor has achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
Correct.
There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me? You telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system. As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
I have no idea what...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Phi and Sigma, even with all of his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world.
There's no way I...
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and New Year's?
Does it really matter?
In 2028?
Well, yes, I do.
Then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be. If observation can change the motion of a particle, then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine. Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history. Only you can save the world.
Collected all trophies. Is that it? Yeah, it doesn't really, like, all I do is I just know that they somehow stopped the virus from getting out. That was a true ending. A God ending. Oh my gosh. All right. This game was fun. A little too long. A little long-winded at times, but overall worth the ride, I would say. I didn't see like any of these things coming. I mean, the only things that I saw coming were just like the softballs, you know. The purpose of the AB games is to prevent the outbreak, right? That's pretty easy to figure out, 15 hours ago. But just like how it happens is, yeah. What game is next? When is the final game? Is there another Zero Escape game? I think there is. Well, the next game is the game that you requested, that NES game. I don't remember what it was called. Nightshade or something like that. Third Time Dilemma. Give me time before I play that one. Played a lot of stuff. This game was long, okay? I think I need a break. Ugh. I mean, these games are fun. The puzzles are fun. But, this is a long game. I like the story, though. The one sad thing I found about the story is, like, I go back to my like, the success of the story ends with me back in 2028 and Luna's not there, and that makes me sad. We didn't end and we all lived happily ever after. I thought we were gonna walk outside the door and like I I thought like a lot of versions of the timelines of the history in this game involves us being in the future, but by the end of the game, I thought that somehow it would have been we walked outside and the pandemic never existed. But I thought somehow that was going to happen, but that didn't happen. It ended up being a lot more convoluted with like so many timelines in different decades, and a lot of like the whole memory jumping where it's like I leap into one body and then the consciousness of that body's in another body now. Like that I didn't get. I thought you just override, or you just have glimpses of one consciousness gets added to the other consciousness in the past, not like a swapping thing, which made it a lot more complicated. But it was still fun. It's still good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the puzzles in this game. But I need to get to bed. I need to get to bed an hour and a half ago. So I am ending my stream here. I'm not gonna raid out. I just gotta go to bed immediately. So Omega, Frulio, Caden, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow with Nightshade on the NES, which is the game that Omega requested. So yeah, peace out. I'm out. Yep, good night.